Although extinction is a natural phenomenon, occurring at a background rate of 1 to 5 species per year, scientists estimate that we're losing species at between 1,000 to 10,000 times that background rate, with literally dozens going extinct every day through habitat destruction, exploitation, and climate change. Sometimes, though, we really excel ourselves. Take, for example, the passenger pigeon. Possibly the most abundant bird on Earth, early 19th century estimates put their population at somewhere between 3 and 5 billion with a B individuals, about a third of today's North American bird population. Records in the 1830s tell of passing flocks that darkened the sky for days at a time. They nested in trees in such great numbers that their weight would break off branches. There were contests to shoot as many as possible, with one winner shooting 30,000 birds in the time limit. By 1900, there were none left in the wild. The last captive specimen, a pigeon named Martha in the Cincinnati Zoo, died in 1941. The history of the passenger pigeon can teach us a lot about how and why species become extinct. Native Americans had relied on passenger pigeons for food, but by and large had learned to harvest them at a sustainable level. It was common in some parts of North America to only eat young pigeons that were hunted at night, since this approach didn't seem to scare away the adult birds or prevent them from re-nesting. But starting around 1500, a more aggressive species of human came to the continent. Were Europeans to blame for the extinction? Not entirely, though still mostly. A 2014 study published in the scientific journal PNAS suggested that humans were simply the final straw in destroying a species that was already vulnerable and could have been headed to oblivion on its own. The researchers asserted that despite their enormous numbers, the passenger pigeon, whose population figures could vary wildly, were already in trouble. Studies of the genetic variation of the species using an investigative method called PSMC formed the background of this theory. The PSMC, or pairwise sequentially Markovian coalescent method, can use the information in the genes of a single individual to map the history of the species. You should therefore be able to see how the species developed over many generations and estimate how many individuals there were at any given time, all based on a single genome. Using this method, researchers found that the number of passenger pigeons was in free fall even before the arrival of the Europeans. Although the species might not have gone extinct, left alone it would still have shrunk dramatically, maybe to only a few 100,000 individuals.